Hi everybody, Geraldine Rose here. I've got a Christmas card due. I've never done an edge-to-edge shaker. What could go wrong? This Christmas card was for the Winter Holidays monthly YouTube hop. It's hosted by Valley Oak Paper. Down in the description, there is a playlist with all the other creators' videos, so go check them out too. I had been saving the only stamp that I got from Stamptember this year, the Pink and Main collaboration, which I've been getting for years. I have all their snowman marshmallow as well. This one, though, was the reindeer kisses. They're like little bobblehead reindeers. They were so cute. I wanted to dry out my alcohol markers with them, so I stamped them with a Copic-friendly ink, and I set that aside so that the ink could set up. In the meantime, I used Versamark and the white pigment ink and a white embossing powder to do the main sentiment. Got it set. I jumped to the inside of the card. I'm stamping down the fourth reindeer. This I shouldn't have done. Like, looking back on it, I was wanting to look like a no line. I should have just done it in black like the ones on the front. I was thinking that I wanted the inside to be a little bit more muted because I was worried about the alcohol markers bleeding through to the back side of the card. There was a little bit of that did happen. But this guy, I stamped him down with brown, and then I did his scarf in red, and then I did the little light string in green over top. And it's all going fine here. I'm putting the sentiment down in light greens and turquoises, and I'm accenting each of those with a slightly darker shade. So a little bit darker blue for the top part and a little bit darker green for the bottom part, using my finger or the brushes to blend them out and ombre stamping them. My original idea for the inside was to do it in a lighter, more muted version of what was on the front panel. To that effect, I got out my alcohol markers and my chart for them. I don't have enough of these. And as we all know, they're pretty expensive. Plus, it's really difficult to get them in because of the flight regulations and the fact that alcohol's flammable, right? I used the ones that I had in my alcohol blender, put it aside rather than getting frustrated. Grabbed out an old snow stencil, put it down, and started working with some blue tones and a little bit of purple and just blended, and was getting frustrated with that as well because the snowflakes kept moving. And then I thought, oh, I can make that work to my advantage. I will just make them look like they're vibrating snowflakes and that they're coming down, and I'll put some water speckles on them, and that'll help with that too. And I'm like, okay, just run with it, because it's not going to be a standard stencil here. Once I pulled the stencil off, I took what was left on the blue brush and I went back over top of the snowflakes so that they didn't look like really crazy, like in your face with the contrast. That's where I'm throwing down the water speckles, drying it off. Once I gave it a few seconds to react first. I have blended out the sentiment panel with the blue. I ended up deepening this later because I wasn't happy with it. It just didn't stand out enough against the background. Jump to the second level of what was going to be on the front. And I wanted trees in the background behind my reindeer. Brought out a couple of greens, muted them out with a little bit of that's my Trasher white, by the way. I don't do that with my good white pigment pad. I ran it through with the Snowy Forest Glade embossing folder. Forgot the one cutting plate in the bottom. Got it run through. Looking at it, it just wasn't giving me. All right, let's find something else to throw at it. Let's smear some more ink over top of it in the darker colors. The turquoises, completely ink swiped across the top. And I brought in another evergreen green over that, held it up against the panel, and again, this is just not giving me. I think it was because the reindeer are cartoonish, the background is graphic, and the trees were realistic. I had to figure something else out. That's why I went with an old graphic style of Christmas tree die cut, as well as the snowbank in the background. Now these, because they've got all those little pieces in there, I brought out some of the sticky tape, put that across the back to hold it all in place because I don't want to lose too many. You can see that there are a few there that I did have to poke out and reinsert back into their spots. For the snowbank, we're not giving it the traditional colors. We're giving it a shadow with a little bit of the green and the turquoisey, and there were little hints of purple that I put in other spots too. And again, I was just using what was left over on the blending brushes. For the 3 little trees, of course, it's splatter time. And one of my favorites, picket fence, which I knew was going to absorb into the background anyways, especially since I had so much ink on there, but I did it. And then I brought out some white gouache, and it was a little bit too thick at the beginning, so I put some shimmer spray into it, and then I splattered that on the panel. I'm going to trim it down so it's got a little bit of an edge around it. Of course, I had it in the wrong direction, so flip that around. Now for the edger, I've seen this done several times. I've not actually done this type of shaker before. I cut out one of the old packages from something that a stamp came in. So it's just a single layer across the front, and I mitered the edges. I put sticky tape down. I did 3 sides, closed them in, and here, because I still had some exposed tape on the back, I recovered them up with the backing paper. Putting my sequins inside, I'm throwing in an assortment of we've all got that stash, right? And these ones I shouldn't have put in. They are these little round tubes, and they're causing everything to kind of get stuck. So I will know that for next time. I also put in a little piece of tape down towards the bottom so that they wouldn't slide all the way to the bottom. Okay, trees are going down. The snowbank is just set on top right now, just for me to figure out where my placement is going to be. Putting that last guy over on the left. And I'm going to splatter the snowbank. I mean, the background splattered. This will give it a little bit of unity having that splattered as well. That snow effect is going through. The trees have got splatter on them. I ran it through with the Altenew Layered Snowflakes embossing folder, but just across the bottom portion. Sped this up. This is where I am attempting to make these reindeers similar to the one that's on the inside of the card. Going over and over and over with the brown tones that I do have, and using my alcohol blender marker as well to harmonize everything together. And this took me a really long time. So this is something that I really do need to practice. I think they turned out okay in the end. And it's a very difficult, large area here with these bobblehead reindeer that you're doing because it's a sphere, but at the same time, it's like, well, their nose is going to want to stick out a bit. And where am I putting the lighter tones? And of course, they have to have the pink blush for the cheeks. And, let's bring their antlers in, and then their hooves. Like, well, I don't want them to be stark black, so I put them in dark browns. And the presents I did in the blues and the greens as well. They die cut really well. Oh, the die cuts are wonderful. It's got such a nice clean edge around them. Little mailbox in the back, traditional red and white. Yay. And then these are my old metallic markers. So I got out the green one, and I got out the blue one, and I did their ribbons because ribbons have got to be shiny. That's just the rule for Christmas, isn't it? All right. Okay. Oh, and that was the special delivery banner because, of course, they've just picked all that stuff up from the mailbox, right? And that was a special delivery to get it to them on time. That guy's got hot chocolate with little marshmallows in. He's so cute. I just love it. Setting the main sentiment up on the top. You can see now how I've darkened it up. And that is going to be the finished card once we get this custom stamp on the back. And this one had to have extra love on. There we are! My first ever edge-to-edge shaker card. Look at it! It does shake a little bit. It's shiny, and it's not too much bling, but there's bling in the background, and it's got some pretty colors in it, and it's got some very happy reindeer. I'm glad I tried it out. You guys go try something new. Oh, and remember to go watch the other people in the playlist down below. So be that change you want to see in the world. Thanks for subbing. We'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.